After being reborn, I opened my eyes to find my roommate Zhou Ting gripping my hand. She was crying, her face streaked with tears. "I know you're jealous that I got the scholarship, but you can't steal my necklace." Surrounding us were classmates and the counselor who had rushed over upon hearing the commotion. I didn't become hysterical like in my previous life, I just calmly watched her performance. At the same time, I pressed the record button on my phone. I waited until she finished crying to everyone about my crimes. I quietly posted the first video to my social media feed. Caption: The Birth of a Drama Queen Roommate Episode 1, premiering today. 1. Sunua, give me back my necklace. Zhou Ting's scream shattered the tranquility of the dorm room. I sat up from the bed, the sensation of weightlessness from the moment I jumped off the building in my previous life still lingering in my body. The scene before me was so familiar it made my stomach churn. Zhou Ting was gripping my wrist with astonishing strength, her nails almost digging into my flesh. With her other hand, she pointed at my open pillowcase, inside which a platinum necklace glinted coldly under the light. "I know you're jealous of me, jealous that I got the scholarship, jealous that my family is better off than yours," she cried hysterically, as if she had suffered a great injustice. "But you still can't steal." That was my birthday gift from my mom. The counselor and several classmates were already blocking the doorway, pointing at me. "Oh my god, how could Sunua do such a thing? He always seemed so honest and reliable." You can know a person's face but not their heart. For money, some people are capable of anything. In my past life, it was these very words that drove me insane. I frantically explained, saying I didn't do it, saying I was wronged. But it only made them think I was angry from embarrassment, further confirming my guilt. This time, I didn't speak, I just quietly looked at Zhou Ting, looking at her face with its smeared makeup, and the flicker of triumph in her eyes. I even took a moment to think, with all that crying, her eyeliner hasn't smudged, must be waterproof. The counselor walked in with a frown. "Sunua, what's going on? Is everything Zhou Ting said true?" Zhou Ting immediately threw herself into the counselor's arms, crying even more intensely. "Teacher Wang, you must stand up for me. I really can't believe that Sunua would treat me like this. Are we even still roommates?" As she cried, she gave me a provocative look from an angle only I could see. I ignored her. I simply raised my phone. The screen was still on, the red recording time numbers ticking away minute by minute. Zhou Ting's crying abruptly stopped. The expression on her face froze, as if someone had pressed the pause button. I gave her a slight tug at the corner of my mouth. Then, in front of everyone, I pressed the stop button, save the video, open WeChat moments, upload, edit text. The Birth of a Drama Queen Roommate, Episode 1, premieres today. Settings, visible only to classmates, send, done in one go. After finishing all this, I finally looked up and saw Zhou Ting, whose face had turned pale, and the counselor, who looked completely stunned. "Teacher Wang, I have nothing to explain, everyone can just check my moments." The dorm room was deathly silent, only the intermittent chimes of phone notifications could be heard. Someone opened the video. In the video, Zhou Ting stealthily took the necklace out of her own drawer, looked around, and then carefully tucked it under my pillow. After doing all this, she even practiced her expression in front of the pillow, took a few seconds to build up the emotion, and then let out that earth-shattering scream. The entire process was crystal clear. Even the words she muttered as she stuffed the necklace, "Sunua, just wait for your downfall," were recorded clearly. What is going on?" a classmate stammered. Zhou Ting's face instantly turned from pale to a purplish red. She tried to snatch my phone, but I dodged by turning sideways. When did you record this?" "Just when you started performing," I said calmly. The advisor's expression was also unpleasant. She looked at the video, then at Zhou Ting, and finally fixed her gaze on me. "Sunua, Teacher Wang," I interrupted her. "I don't want to make a big deal out of this, and I don't want to call the police either. After all, we're still classmates." Zhou Ting trembled slightly upon hearing the words "call the police." "I just want to prove my innocence," I said as I put away my phone. "So, am I cleared now?" No one spoke. The classmates who were just pointing and whispering about me are now all lowering their heads, not daring to look at me. Zhou Ting was trembling all over, pointing at me, unable to utter a word for a long time. What about me?" I took a step forward, closing in on her. "Are you going to say I'm despicable, or that I'm shameless?" "Zhou Ting, the truly despicable and shameless person is you." I don't want to waste any more words on her, so I pick up my coat and get ready to leave. As I pass by her, I stop and say in a voice only the two of us can hear, "Don't worry, this is just the first episode. The series has only just begun." 2. My moments in class group chats have completely blown up. The first episode of The Birth of a Drama Queen Roommate spread like wildfire. In the comment section, the wind has completely shifted direction. "Holy crap, this is the drama of the year. The Oscars owe Zhou Ting a little golden statue. Such acting skills. It's a shame not to audition for film school. Sunua is way too calm." Recording the whole thing, impressive. I feel bad for Sunua being set up by such a scumbag. When I returned to the dorm, my other two roommates, Li Jing and Wang Shui, looked at me with strange expressions. The two of them are usually close with Zhou Ting, and earlier at the door, they looked at me with disbelief. Now, they are sitting in their seats, pretending to read, but the corners of their eyes keep glancing in my direction. Zhou Ting isn't here. I guess she probably couldn't bear to stay in the dorm. I ignored them and, as usual, turned on my computer and put on my headphones. Not long after, the dormitory door was pushed open. Zhou Ting had returned. Her eyes were red and swollen. Clearly, she had been crying again, but this time it wasn't an act. She walked straight up to me and slapped her phone down on my desk with a sharp crack. Sunua, delete the video. Her voice was hoarse, carrying an uncontrollable anger. I took off one of my earphones. On what grounds? You are violating my privacy rights. I'm going to sue you, she said furiously. Oh, then go ahead and sue. I leaned back in my chair. While you're at it, let the police see whether slipping a necklace under my pillow counts as false accusation and framing. Zhou Ting's face turned pale again. She probably didn't expect me to be so stubborn and unyielding. In my past life, whenever she shed a few tears or spoke a few soft words, I would relent. But now, the blood in my heart has run dry, leaving only a cold hatred. When she saw that being tough didn't work, she started to soften her approach. Nua, we're best friends, aren't we? I know I was wrong. Can you forgive me this time? She tried to reach for my hand, but I dodged it with disgust. I was just confused for a moment, blinded by jealousy. If you delete the video, we can go back to how we were before. Go back to how we were before. I sounded as if I had heard the biggest joke in the world. Go back to how we were, so you can keep treating me like a fool. My voice wasn't loud, but it was clear enough for the other two roommates to hear. Li Jing and Wang Shui buried their heads even lower. Zhou Ting's face turned pale then flushed. Sunua, do you have to be so ruthless? You were the one who took it too far first. I put my earphones back on. Don't bother me, or I can't guarantee there won't be a second episode. Zhou Ting's body swayed slightly, but in the end, she didn't dare to say anything more. She shot me a resentful glare and returned to her seat. The dormitory was eerily quiet. I thought she would calm down for a while. Unexpectedly, in the middle of the night, I was awakened by a rustling sound. I quietly opened my eyes and, by the moonlight streaming through the window, saw Zhou Ting sitting at my desk with a bag of chips. It was the one I had just bought this afternoon and hadn't had a chance to eat yet. She was eating while typing rapidly on her phone. The light from the phone screen illuminated her face, which was filled with malice. I didn't move. I quietly watched her finish the entire bag of potato chips and drink half of my cola. Then, I heard the notification sound from her phone as she sent a WeChat message. I closed my eyes and pretended to be fast asleep. The next morning, while they were all in class, I turned on my computer. A new video appeared on the screen. It was recorded by the miniature camera I had placed in the corner of the bookshelf last night. In the video, Zhou Ting's actions of secretly eating my snacks were clearly visible. Even more interestingly, the camera happened to capture her phone screen. She is chatting with someone whose note is backup one. Zhou Ting, I'm so angry. That bitch Sunua. Just because her family is poor, who does she think she is? Always putting on that sour face. Backup one, what did she do to upset you, baby? Zhou Ting, I just ate a bag of her cheap potato chips, and she started making sarcastic remarks. So stingy. I don't know how someone like her even has friends. Spare tire no. 1, don't be mad, baby. I'll buy you a whole box tomorrow and deliver it to your dorm. Zhou Ting, you're the best. I edited this video with a blank expression, added subtitles and background music, then I opened my moments. The second episode of The Birth of a Drama Queen Roommate is officially released. The title is How a Freeloader Bites the Hand That Feeds Them. 3. The impact of the second episode far exceeded my expectations. If the first episode only allowed everyone to see Zhou Ting's character, then the second episode completely nailed her to the cross of hypocrisy and shamelessness. Damn. She eats someone else's food and then calls them stingy. What kind of twisted logic is that? Who is that backup number one? Come out and claim your baby. This is no longer just acting, it's a character flaw. In the class group chat, the few girls who had spoken up for Zhou Ting the day before were now silent. Zhou Ting didn't come to class all day. The way Li Jing and Wang Shui looked at me changed from strange to fearful. They started avoiding me intentionally or unintentionally, afraid that they would be the next ones I'd post about on my social media. I'm enjoying the peace and quiet. I had no classes in the afternoon, so I went to the library to look for some graduate school entrance exam materials. In my previous life, my life came to an abrupt end in college. In this life, I will take back what is owed to me, with interest. By the time I left the library, it was already getting dark. I was carrying a stack of thick books back to the dorm when I passed by a milk tea shop and bought myself a cup of hot cocoa, just as I reached the dormitory building. A figure suddenly rushed out from the side and crashed straight into me. I instinctively took a step back, but it was too late. The hot cocoa flew out of my hand and, without missing a beat, splashed all over the books in my arms and my newly purchased laptop. The laptop bag was instantly soaked. Zhou Ting let out an exaggerated cry and plopped down onto the ground. She was wearing a white dress and looked utterly pitiful at that moment. Sorry, Sunua, I didn't mean to. I didn't see you. She looked at me with teary eyes while apologizing. I lowered my head, looking at my computer soaked in hot cocoa, feeling a chill in my heart. I had worked hard as a tutor for 2 months to save up enough money to buy this computer. The same thing had happened in my previous life, only it wasn't hot cocoa that was spilled, it was milk tea. At that moment, my heart ached so much I thought I would die. I rushed to help her up and asked if she was hurt. As for her, she apologized with her words, but then immediately posted on her social media. The post included a photo of her fall, with the caption, "So clumsy today, accidentally spilled milk tea on my roommate's laptop, boo-hoo. I wonder if she'll be mad at me, pitiful." A bunch of people commented below, "Ting Ting, don't cry, it wasn't intentional, your roommate is so petty, getting angry over something so trivial." As for me, I could only swallow my anger and pay out of my own pocket to repair the water-damaged computer. This time, I didn't help her up, I just watched coldly as she sat on the ground putting on a show. A crowd of passers-by had already gathered around. "What's going on? It seems that girl bumped into someone and got their computer wet." Zhou Ting, hearing the murmurs, cried even more bitterly, "Sunua, please don't be angry, okay? I really didn't do it on purpose. How much does your computer cost?" I'll pay for it, all right," she said as she got up from the ground, wanting to check my computer. I took a step back, avoiding her hand. "No need." My voice was very calm. Zhou Ting was taken aback for a moment, seemingly not expecting this reaction from me. "Sunua, you don't blame me. Why should I blame you?" I looked at her and said, word by word, "You didn't do it on purpose." I deliberately emphasized the word purpose. A flicker of panic crossed Zhou Ting's face, but it was quickly replaced by an expression of grievance. All right, stop pretending," I interrupted her. "The floor is cold, get up quickly, or you'll end up posting on your moments again, saying your legs went numb from sitting too long just to apologize." Zhou Ting's face instantly turned pale. She probably thought this would end like before, with me swallowing my anger and letting it go. She didn't expect that I wouldn't follow her script at all. I ignored her and, holding my soaked laptop bag, went straight back to the dorm. As soon as I entered the room, I immediately took out the laptop, removed the back cover, and carefully blew the motherboard inside with a hairdryer. Fortunately, I reacted quickly, and not much hot chocolate had seeped in. After dealing with the laptop, I took out my phone. I have already asked the dorm supervisor to help retrieve the surveillance video from downstairs in the dormitory. In the video, Zhou Ting was hiding in the corner the whole time and only rushed out when she saw me coming. The angle, the timing, it was so perfect, as if it had been rehearsed countless times. I edited the surveillance footage together with the video I had accidentally recorded earlier of her practicing a fake fall in front of the mirror. Then she attached a screenshot of that WeChat Moments post from her previous life, The Birth of a Drama Queen Roommate, Episode 3, Fresh Out of the Oven. Title, "When it comes to faking accidents, I'm a professional." After posting the video, I leaned back in my chair and let out a long, deep sigh. "Zhou Ting, the game has just begun. I will return every bit of the pain you inflicted on me, without missing a single part." For Zhou Ting was completely panicked. 3 consecutive episodes of drama made her a complete celebrity at school. Wherever she went, people would point fingers at her. Those contemptuous, mocking, and scornful gazes felt like countless needles, piercing her until she was covered in wounds. She didn't dare come to class, didn't dare go to the cafeteria, and spent all day hiding in the dormitory, or rather, whenever I was in the dormitory, she would curl up in bed, covering her head with a blanket, pretending she didn't exist. She thought that this way, things would blow over, but she was too naive. The public opinion escalated far beyond her control. On the school's forum, someone started a thread specifically discussing the Dramatic Roommates series. The thread kept getting more and more replies. Someone dug up her past social media posts with those peaceful and serene photos and kindness quotes, compared to her in my video. It's such a huge irony. On one hand, she says the world should treat her gently, and on the other, she spills milk tea on her roommate's computer. On one hand, she eats other people's snacks, and on the other, she calls them stingy. Unbelievable. How did someone like this get into our school? I suggest a thorough investigation. Counselor Wang spoke with me again. This time, her attitude was no longer evasive. "Sunua, Zhou Ting's parents called me and said, they said you've been bullying her online, which has caused her mental state to deteriorate significantly. Teacher Wang's expression was troubled. You see, could you delete those videos? After all, it doesn't look good, and it's damaging to the school's reputation. I looked at her and found it somewhat ridiculous. In my previous life, when I was driven to depression by Zhou Ting and her supporters, suffering from insomnia every night and even experiencing hallucinations, this Teacher Wang had only lightly said, "It takes two to tango. You both need to look for reasons within yourselves, now." The perpetrator has become the victim, and she suddenly knows how to feel sorry. Teacher Wang, I am merely stating the facts, I said calmly. If stating the facts is considered bullying, then what would you call what Zhou Ting did to me? Teacher Wang was left speechless by my response. As for the school's reputation, I paused. What kind of reputation does a school that tolerates false accusations and shelters bullies even have? Teacher Wang's expression completely changed. Su Nua. How can you say that? I'm just telling the truth. I stood up. If the school thinks my behavior is inappropriate, they can give me a punishment, but I won't delete the video unless Zhou Ting gives me a public apology in front of all the teachers and students. After saying that, I didn't look at her again and walked straight out of the office. I knew that Zhou Ting wouldn't apologize. Given her personality, she would only think that I had ruined everything for her. Sure enough, that very night, she began a new round of performance. She created a secondary account and posted a lengthy article on Weibo. In the article, she portrayed herself as an innocent, helpless victim who was envied by her roommate and driven to desperation by online bullying. She claimed that the videos I posted were maliciously edited and taken out of context. She accused me of colluding with the entire class to isolate and bully her. She also shared a diagnosis certificate from the hospital indicating mild depression. I don't know what I did wrong to be treated like this. If my death can satisfy you and put an end to all this, I am willing. The article was written with such deep emotion that it quickly garnered sympathy from some netizens who were unaware of the truth. Oh my God, is bullying in universities this severe now? This promise is just too vicious. Support the blogger, use legal means to protect yourself. Zhou Ting's move was very clever. She wants to make a big deal out of it, muddy the waters, and turn herself from the perpetrator into the victim. This plays right into my hands. I'd been waiting for this moment. I didn't engage with those netizens, nor did I post any clarifications. I just quietly logged into my social media feed. The fourth video has been uploaded. This video was captured by the second miniature camera I installed in the dormitory. It was installed facing her desk. In the video, Zhou Ting is facing the mirror, practicing crying from various angles over and over again, crying with pear blossoms bathed in rain, crying from the depths of grievance, crying in utter despair and collapse. She even held a pen, scribbling and sketching on paper, designing lines to frame me. Sunua, why are you treating me like this? What exactly have I done to offend you? As she recited, she adjusted her tone and expression, striving for the most perfect effect. At the end of the video, she was shown typing the entire suicide note-style long essay in front of the computer. There was not a trace of sorrow on her face, only calculation and venom. I gave this fourth episode a resounding name, The Self-Cultivation of a Novel's Female Lead. As soon as the video was released, the entire internet fell silent. Those righteous netizens who were just cheering for Zhou Ting moments ago vanished without a trace in an instant. Meanwhile, our school's forum erupted into unprecedented revelry. Zhou Ting became a complete laughingstock throughout the entire school, and even the entire city. 5. The complete reversal of public opinion poured like a bucket of ice water, extinguishing Zhou Ting's last glimmer of hope. She deleted all the content on her Weibo and deactivated her account. But it was already too late. Her performance videos and that short essay were screenshotted and turned into various memes, spreading across major social media platforms. Drama Queen, Best Actress, and White Lotus became labels she couldn't tear off. She completely stopped daring to go outside. Even meals were brought back to the dormitory by Li Jing and Wang Shui. Those two are now extremely respectful toward me. Even somewhat ingratiating, they take the initiative to fetch water for me, bring me meals, and carefully observe my expressions. I suspect they are afraid that I might also have some dirt on them. After all, over the past 2 years, they had followed Zhou Ting's lead and never missed an opportunity to mock and ridicule me. I had no interest in dealing with them. From beginning to end, my target has always been Zhou Ting alone. That evening, when I returned from the study room, only Zhou Ting was in the dormitory. She sat in the darkness, like a ghost. Hearing the sound of me opening the door, she lifted her head. Sunua, her voice was dry and hoarse, as if rubbed by sandpaper. Let's talk. I turned on the light, and under the harsh glare, her face was deathly pale without a trace of color. Her greasy hair clung to her scalp, and she looked utterly haggard. What do you want to talk about? I placed the book on the table. What exactly do I have to do for you to let me go? She stood up and walked toward me step by step. I've already lost everything. My reputation is ruined. What more do you want from me? Let you go? I laughed. Zhou Ting, when I jumped off the rooftop in my past life, did you ever let me go? I said this very softly. She didn't understand, but in my heart, it weighed as heavy as 1,000 pounds. Zhou Ting clearly didn't expect me to say this. She froze. What? What did you say? Nothing. I pulled out the chair and sat down. I don't want to do anything. I'm just recording life. That's not recording, that's revenge, she screamed hysterically. You've ruined me, you've ruined my life, you ruined yourself, I said coldly, staring at her. If you hadn't done those things, what would I have to record? Zhou Ting was left speechless by my words. She stared at me fiercely, her eyes filled with bloodshot and madness. Fine, fine, Sunua, you forced me to do this. After uttering those harsh words, she turned and rushed out of the dormitory. I watched her retreating figure. Feeling no emotion in my heart, I know she's about to begin her final struggle. She thinks she's the innocent female lead in a novel who gets bullied by the vicious supporting character, only to have a domineering CEO descend from the heavens to save her. Unfortunately, she's not the female lead, and I'm not the supporting character either. I'm just an Avenger who crawled back from hell. In the following days, Zhou Ting became unusually quiet. She started wearing makeup and dressing up. Although she still didn't attend classes, her mental state seemed much better. She spent every day chatting on her phone, occasionally showing a strange smile on her face, using the miniature camera I had placed on her desk. I saw the content of her conversations. She contacted a small-time thug from outside the school. The note said, Brother Knife, Zhou Ting, Brother Knife, how are things going? Brother Knife, don't worry, little beauty. With the money you gave, you can trust me to get it done. Zhou Ting, I don't want you to kill her, I just want you to ruin her face and take some photos and videos. Brother Dao, haha, got it, we understand, we'll make sure she never dares to show her face in public again. Zhou Ting, after it's done, I'll give you an extra 5,000. Brother Dao, deal, send me the address in time, my boys will make sure it's handled perfectly. Looking at those disgusting chat records, my hands and feet turned ice cold. I had long expected her to be driven to desperate actions, but I never imagined she could be this vicious. She ruined my face and took nude photos and videos of me. This is pushing me to the brink of death. In her previous life, she did the same thing, but back then, she didn't need to spend money. There were plenty of suitors deceived by her kindness and frailty who were willing to do anything for her. Those people cornered me in an alley, tore my clothes, and used a camera to capture my most humiliated and desperate moments. Then, I covered the school bulletin board with the photos. That was the last straw that broke me. In this life, I won't give them that chance again. I took screenshots of all her chat records and transaction records with that Brother Dao and saved them. Then, I compiled this evidence into a new video. At the beginning of the video, there is her tearful essay accusing me of bullying her. In the middle of the video, there are behind-the-scenes clips of her practicing crying scenes in front of a mirror. At the end of the video, there is her malicious plan to hire someone to harm me and attempt to ruin my life. I've titled this 5th episode, The Drama Queen Roommates Plot to Hire a Hitman. This time, I didn't post anything on my social media. I anonymously packaged the video and all the evidence and sent it directly to the official email addresses of the school security office and the local police station. 6. The time Zhou Ting and the thugs agreed on was 9 p.m. on Friday. The location was the quiet, little-used path behind the school's back gate. On Friday afternoon, I received a call from the security office asking me to come over. In the office, besides several security staff members, there were 2 plainclothes police officers. They had read the email I sent and looked very serious. Classmate, is everything you said in the email true? An older police officer asked me. Every word of it is true. I handed over my phone. Here is more complete video evidence, including the previous time she tried to set me up. They spent over half an hour watching episodes 1 through 4 of The Drama Queen Roommate on my phone, as well as the complete footage for episode 5. The office fell into complete silence. The expressions of the teachers shifted from seriousness to shock, and finally to anger. This is simply lawless. The head of the security department slammed the table. How could our school produce such a student? This Zhou Ting is already suspected of intentional injury and inciting crime, said the younger police officer. We will immediately open an investigation. The older police officer looked at me, his gaze carrying a hint of sympathy and approval. Classmate, you are very calm and brave. Rest assured, we will handle this matter seriously and will not tolerate it. Thank you, officer. Thank you, teacher. Tonight, we will set up surveillance in advance. For your safety, we hope you can cooperate with us. I understand. At 8:30 in the evening, as planned, I carried my backpack alone and walked out of the dormitory building. Li Jing and Wang Shui saw me going out so late. their eyes filled with concern. Sunua, where are you going? Li Jing asked softly. To study, I replied calmly. It's so late, maybe you shouldn't go. It's not safe, Wang Shui also advised. I glanced at them. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I didn't know if their concerns were genuine or not, but it no longer mattered. I walked out of the school gate and slowly made my way toward the small path on the back street. The night was deep. The street lights were dim, and there were almost no pedestrians on the entire road. I could feel that in the darkness, several pairs of eyes were watching me. There were police officers, and also, those people sent by Zhou Ting. My heart is beating fast, and my palms are sweaty, even though I know I'm safe. The bone-deep fear from being cornered in the alley in my past life still surges uncontrollably. I forced myself to calm down. Promise, don't be afraid, this time. You are not alone. I walked to the middle of the path, pretending to look at my phone. Suddenly, 3 thuggish men rushed up from the alley beside me and surrounded me. The yellow-haired leader whistled. Hey little girl, all alone. I looked up at them in terror. What are you going to do? My voice was trembling, half acting, half genuinely scared. What? The yellow-haired guy grinned lewdly. You've offended someone you shouldn't have. We're here to teach you a lesson, he said, reaching out to grab my hair. Just as his hand was about to touch me, freeze, police, several beams from powerful flashlights shone from all directions, illuminating us. A dozen plainclothes police officers rushed up from the shadows, instantly pinning the 3 thugs to the ground. Everything happened in the blink of an eye. Before the 3 thugs could even react, they were already handcuffed. The blonde-haired one was still struggling. Officer, it's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. You can explain it slowly once we get to the station. I stood there, watching this dramatic scene, my legs feeling a bit weak. A female officer walked over and gently patted my shoulder. Don't be afraid, everything's fine now. I nodded, my eyes feeling a bit warm. Yes, it's all right now. It's all over. No, not yet. The real show is just beginning. The police quickly got the 3 thugs to spill the beans. They gave up Zhou Ting completely. Several police cars, with their lights flashing, quietly entered the campus and parked below our dormitory building. 7. Zhou Ting was applying a face mask when the police went upstairs. She was in a very good mood, even humming a song. She thought that at this moment, I should have been cornered in the alley by those thugs, crying and begging for mercy. She had even planned what kind of press release to issue tomorrow to firmly establish the accusation that I had a chaotic private life and offended gangsters, leading to retaliation. So, when the dormitory door was suddenly pushed open and several uniformed police officers appeared at the entrance, she was completely stunned. Li Jing and Wang Shui were so frightened that they jumped up from their chairs and hid in the corner, trembling. The mask on Zhou Ting's face hadn't dried yet, making her expression look particularly comical. Who are you looking for? The police officer in charge showed his identification. Are you Zhou Ting? You are suspected of involvement in a case of intentional injury. Please come with us for investigation. Zhou Ting's mind went blank with a buzzing sound. She instinctively looked toward the door, but instead of seeing me, she saw the bewildered face of her counselor, Teacher Wang. She had thought it was the overbearing campus heartthrob from her fantasies coming to stand up for her. Officer, is there some mistake? I'm just a student. How could I be involved in an assault case? As she spoke, she tried to tear off the facial mask on her face, but in her panic, she only made it worse. Is it Sunua? Is Sunua scheming behind my back again? She's jealous of me. She wants to ruin me, she screamed, looking as if she had gone mad. We have witnesses and physical evidence. Whether there's been a mistake, you know best in your heart. The police officer's voice was devoid of any emotion. Take her away. 2 police officers stepped forward, each taking one of her arms. Zhou Ting was still struggling desperately. Let go of me, you can't arrest me, my father is. Her words were not yet finished when a pair of icy handcuffs clicked shut around her wrist. In that instant, the world fell silent. Zhou Ting froze. She looked down at the cold metallic glint on her wrist, and the color instantly drained from her face. She finally realized that this wasn't acting. This wasn't the kind of scene she had read about in novels, where the male lead uses his connections to teach the villain a lesson in order to protect the female lead. This is true. She was going to be taken away by the police. No, I don't want to go. She broke down in tears, collapsing to the ground like a dog with its backbone ripped out. Teacher Wang, save me. I don't want to go to jail. I really know I was wrong. She cast a pleading look toward Teacher Wang. Teacher Wang's face turned ashen, his gaze filled with disappointment and disgust. If you had known it would come to this, why did you act that way in the first place? The police ignored her wailing, forcibly dragged her up from the ground, and escorted her out. The corridors of the entire dormitory building were filled with students who had come out to watch the commotion. Everyone held up their phones, frantically filming Zhou Ting, who was disheveled and crying uncontrollably with tears and mucus streaming down her face. Camera flashes lit up the room. At that moment, she finally became the leading lady in the spotlight. However, what greeted her was not flowers and applause, but endless humiliation and scorn. I stood at the edge of the crowd, watching the scene coldly, watching her being escorted into the police car, watching the police car speed away. In my past life, I too had been watched by countless people like this. They watched me being wronged, watched me being humiliated, watched me being driven to a dead end. Those gazes were like knives, slowly torturing me, and today, all of this has been returned to Zhou Ting. I feel no pleasure at all. There is only a desolate calm in my heart. Zhou Ting, it's time to wake up from your dream of being the heroine in a novel. In the real world, there aren't so many scenarios of a hero saving the beauty. If you do something wrong, you have to pay the price. This is the most fundamental rule. 8. Zhou Ting has been criminally detained. The charge of hiring someone to injure another person is supported by solid evidence, and she simply cannot deny it. The school also responded quickly, posting a notice on the bulletin board about the decision to expel Zhou Ting from the school. The red-headed document, printed in black song typeface, was worded harshly, leaving no room for leniency. At this stage of the situation, it should have been settled by all accounts, but I knew the final storm had not yet arrived. On the third day of Zhou Ting's detention, her parents rushed over from their hometown, a seemingly ordinary middle-aged couple, dressed plainly, their faces etched with anxiety and exhaustion. They didn't go to the police station first, but instead rushed straight to the counselor's office. That day, I happened to be called by Teacher Wang to discuss some matters regarding the scholarship evaluation. The door was slammed open with a bang. As soon as Zhou Ting's mother entered, she fell to her knees with a thud, clutching Teacher Wang's legs and bursting into loud sobs. Teacher Wang, you must stand up for our Ting Ting. My daughter has been well-behaved and sensible since she was a child. How could she possibly do something illegal? Someone must have set her up. It must be that Sun Nua who harmed her. Zhou Ting's father stood to the side, his eyes red, pointing at me. It's you, you heartless woman. You ruined my daughter. If anything happens to my daughter, I'll fight you to the death. He was so agitated that he tried to rush over and hit me, but was stopped by the security staff. Teacher Wang looked embarrassed and flustered, unsure of how to help Zhou Ting's mother up. Zhou Ting's mother, please get up first. Let's talk this through calmly. I won't get up. Zhou Ting's mother clung tightly to her leg. If your school doesn't give me an explanation and clear my daughter's name, I'll die right here. A classic case of throwing a tantrum and making unreasonable demands. Now I understand where Zhou Ting inherited her acting skills from. I watched coldly as the couple performed their well-rehearsed act, not saying a word. The office quickly filled with people, and several school deans were also alerted. Seeing the crowd, Zhou Ting's parents put on an even more dramatic performance. They twisted the facts, portraying me as a malicious supporting character who deliberately schemed to frame her roommate out of jealousy. They described Zhou Ting as an innocent and kind-hearted girl who was wronged by a villain. My daughter is just too naive, thinking everyone is a good person, which is why someone like him was able to take advantage of her. She worked so hard to get into college and was about to graduate. And now you've ruined everything. Give me back my daughter's future. The leaders and teachers who didn't know the truth started looking at me with a somewhat strange expression. After all, it takes two to tango, and at this point, even I, the winner, don't seem entirely innocent. I waited until they had cried themselves out and shouted themselves hoarse, and the office had quieted down a bit. Then I slowly began to speak. Are you done? My voice was calm, yet it struck everyone's hearts like a heavy hammer. Zhou Ting's parents froze, stopped their wailing, and looked at me. Now that you've finished, it's my turn. I took my laptop out of my bag. Then, in front of everyone, I connected it to the office projector. Teachers, Mr. and Mrs. Zhou, since you believe Zhou Ting is innocent and that I framed her, then why don't we all enjoy a TV series starring our very own classmate, Zhou Ting? I pressed the play button on the massive screen. The opening credits of The Birth of a Drama Queen Roommate appeared. Episode 1, Stealing the Necklace and Framing Someone. Episode 2, Eating Snacks and then Turning Around to Accuse Others. Episode 3, Splashing a Computer and Faking an Accident. Episode 4, Practicing Crying Scenes in Front of a Mirror. Episode 5, Chat Records and Transfer Records with a Gangster. Episode by episode. The evidence is solid as a rock. In the office, there was a deathly silence. Everyone was so shocked by what was on the screen that they couldn't speak. The faces of Zhou Ting's parents shifted from initial anger to shock, then to disbelief, and finally to a deathly pallor, as they watched the unfamiliar, malicious, and calculating daughter on the screen. Their bodies trembled uncontrollably. 9. This is edited. It's all fake, Zhou Ting's mother screamed, but her voice trembled with guilt. My daughter isn't like this. She's not, whether it's fake or not. The police will make that judgment. I paused the video and turned my gaze to them. These are just the appetizers. I opened another folder. Inside were the diaries from my previous life. I had scanned them into digital copies, page by page. They documented how Zhou Ting had gradually subjected me to psychological control and oppression since I started school. She would say sarcastically when I won an award, "Oh, Sunua, you're so amazing. Unlike me, I'm so clumsy and can't do anything well." Then she would turn around and complain to others, saying that I stole her spotlight and made her sad. She would deliberately break my things and then pretend it was an accident, using her usual excuse of "I didn't mean to brush it off." She would secretly use my skincare products, replacing the expensive ones with cheap ones. When I found out, she would say pitifully, "I thought we were good friends, so what's yours is mine." She will isolate me, team up with the other roommates, talk behind my back, and spread rumors about me, saying I'm aloof, saying I'm stingy, saying I have unclear relationships with many men. The last few pages of the diary have become scribbled and chaotic. I'm so tired. Why doesn't anyone believe me? Did I really do something wrong? Living is so painful. Maybe death would bring relief. The last page of the diary is a diagnostic report from a psychological counseling center. Severe depression, severe anxiety, recommendation. Immediate hospitalization. The date signed was the day before I jumped off the building. In the office, even the sound of breathing had vanished. Everyone was suffocated by the heavy and despairing words. Counselor Wang's face was as pale as a sheet of paper. She looked at those diaries, her body trembling slightly. She probably remembered how many times I had turned to her for help, and how she had brushed me off with "it takes two to tango." Zhou Ting's parents completely collapsed into their chairs. They stared at the diagnostic report on the screen as if they had seen the most terrifying thing. "No, it can't be," Zhou Ting's father muttered to himself. "My daughter, how could she drive a living person to the brink of despair? Is that it?" I picked up where he left off, my voice cold and devoid of any warmth. I turned off the projector, stood up, and walked over to them. I looked at their pale faces and said, word by word, with absolute clarity, "I never intended to ruin anyone. I am merely a recorder, recording how she stole, how she framed others, how she bullied, and how she hired someone to harm others. What truly ruined her was neither me nor this video. It's her own heart, the one you've spoiled since she was a child. Living in a world of fiction, filthy and rotten, my words, like the sharpest blade, sliced through their final disguise." Zhou Ting's mother stood with her mouth agape, unable to utter a single word. Zhou Ting's father, the man who had just been shouting about fighting me to the death, now looked like a deflated balloon, instantly aged by 10 years. They finally understood. Their daughter was not some innocent, naive little flower, but rather a demon who personally pushed others into hell. And they were the accomplices who raised this demon. 10. That confrontation ended with Zhou Ting's parents fleeing in panic. They never came back to the school to make a scene, nor did they go to the police station to protest their grievances again. It was as if all their energy and spirit had been drained from them. They had come to terms with reality overnight. A few days later, I received a call from an unfamiliar number. "She is Zhou Ting's mother." Her voice was tired and hoarse, devoid of the arrogance from that day. "Sunua, I'm sorry." On the other end of the phone, there was a long silence and suppressed sobbing. It's us who failed to raise her properly. We read your things, read Tingting's diary. Only then did we realize, since childhood, her words were fragmented, but I could roughly piece together the whole story. Zhou Ting had always lived in her own fantasies since childhood, imagining herself as the heroine of a novel and believing the whole world should revolve around her. She envies and tries to suppress anyone who is better than her. She considers anyone who doesn't go along with her wishes as a vicious supporting female character out to harm her. Her parents are not unaware of this, but they chose to indulge and even cover up for her. They thought their daughter was just a bit temperamental, a bit of a princess, and that she would grow out of it, until today. That temperament finally led to irreversible consequences. "We beg you, can you please write a letter of forgiveness?" she asked cautiously. "She's still young. We can't let her life be ruined like this." "She's not that young," I interrupted coldly. "When she planned to ruin my life, she should have expected this day. When she stands on the moral high ground, enjoying the thrill of trampling over my bones, she should be held accountable for her actions. Forgiveness, go tell it to the law." I hung up the phone and blocked that number. I'm not a saint. I cannot forgive someone who once drove me to the brink of despair, no matter how pitiful she may seem now. It cannot make up for the evil she once committed. In the end, Zhou Ting was sentenced to 3 years in prison for multiple crimes, including intentional injury, preparation, and false accusation. Her dream of being the heroine of a novel was completely shattered behind cold iron bars, and I successfully reclaimed the national scholarship that rightfully belonged to me. Moreover, with outstanding academic performance and competition experience, I successfully secured a spot for postgraduate studies at my own university. Everything has returned to the right track, even better than in my previous life. Li Jing and Wang Shuan moved out of the dorm. They probably couldn't face me anymore. I was the only one left in the dorm, clean and quiet. I thoroughly cleaned the dorm and threw away everything that didn't belong to me. Sunlight streams through the clean window, falling on my desk. On the desk lies my graduate school acceptance letter. I pick up my phone and log into WeChat, which I haven't checked in a long time. The last post in my Moments feed is still the preview for my drama queen roommate, the hitman hiring plot. There are thousands of comments and likes below. I edited a new post, roommate drama queen has come to an end. Thank you for watching. Click send. Then, I logged out of WeChat and uninstalled the app. The new life that belongs to Sunua has just begun under the sunlight. This time, there are no malicious roommates, no endless darkness, only a bright and smooth path, and a brilliant life that truly belongs to me. The end.